Joining us now is Stacey, Vanek, co-host of NPR's Planet Money and a business and economics correspondent. Great to have you with us this morning. You know, picking up where our colleague John Harwood just left off, we know what things look like, right? We know who is going to be held responsible and who is being held responsible for the state of the economy, inflation, prices at this point. Realistically, what can be done at this point by the president or lawmakers to really bring prices down?
Well, like you say, inflation is basically a fancy word for prices rising. And there are some things that lawmakers can do. Obviously, the Federal Reserve has the big mechanism to bring down prices, that is raising interest rates, and that is being done. I'm sure President Biden will talk about that. Otherwise, the things that the president can do include tapping the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in order to put more gas on the market to try to bring down gas prices, which, you know, are up 48%, so it's pretty big. Also things like capping drug prices to help maybe control those prices. The president has talked about increasing the supply of homes in the U.S., and that should hopefully bring prices for homes down. Those have been up 34%, so enormously up. And again, infrastructure plans, the idea being that that could help some of the supply chain issues, which have also pushed prices up.
Okay, so we know that inflation has a lot of factors. So some of this is years of easy money, right? You know, that went too long into a growing economy. Some of it is pandemic stuff, supply shortages and that sort of thing. Some of it was a lot of the COVID relief money thrown into an already hot economy. But we also know that companies are raising prices probably because it increases their profit margins beyond what they have to raise. I mean, and by the way, some of them are stating it outright in their earnings reports. I'm going to quote one from Shake Shack. Their CFO says, "We're encouraged by the results of our October price increase. Believe our brand has pricing power. The extent of inflation this year remains uncertain, and we may take additional price later this year to help build back margins." So the U.S. Chamber of Commerce says it's wrong to blame price hikes on companies. We know there are multiple factors, but is it correct to say that some companies are taking advantage of this?
Well, certainly, and I don't even know if it falls in the category of taking advantage of it. I think one thing we know is that expectations play such a powerful role in inflation and in prices rising. And if you're running a company and it seems like prices are rising and the prices for the raw materials you use or the beef that you use in your hamburgers is going up, you're going to want to raise prices in anticipation of that. That can sort of start this chain reaction that trickles up through the whole economy. And I think even companies that are not trying to take advantage of the situation, and I'm sure that there are companies that are taking advantage of the situation, but even if you're just trying to sort of anticipate what your costs are and bring in a profit for shareholders, those expectations are incredibly powerful. So that's probably part of what President Biden is doing right now, is trying to create the expectation that prices are stabilizing.
Yeah.
There is also, we can't ignore the fear of recession, right? And discussion that maybe the Fed missed its window with these hikes, made them a little bit too late. Is recession inevitable?
I definitely don't think it's inevitable. I mean, certainly we're seeing a lot of very confusing economic indicators right now. The jobs numbers that we got for the month of April were really fantastic. We added more than 400,000 jobs. That's really wonderful. The unemployment rate is very low. On the other hand, the economy is shrinking a little bit. Prices are rising. It's a moment, I think, of great confusion, and people don't really know what direction it will take. So this is probably a powerful moment for policies to hopefully steer the country and the economy in the right direction so we can avoid a recession.
Yeah, we'll see if the Fed can catch up with it. A lot of folks argue the Fed was slow to keeping rates low, again, through a hot economy. And by the way, through multiple administrations. Stacey, Vanek, thanks so much for joining us.